KLIFE is an organization here in Kirksville that is a kids ministry. Some people could think of it like as a after school club, a boys and girls club. Kind of fills the role of like what some YMCAs do a little bit. But really it's a spot where we've got around 50 college leaders, so 19, 20, 21-year-olds are leading games with, hanging out, going to football games, and just sharing life with kids in the community. So that is, I believe it's second grade all the way up through 12th grade. But there's a lot of stuff that happens in particular for junior high and high school kids. The school here in town is about a 5-minute walk that direction. So KLIFE is perfectly placed to kids walk over after school and they hang out here. And then also right over here, a 2-minute walk across the street, there's a rehab center. And kids from over there are involved in KLIFE every year too, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of drugs and poverty here in Northeast Missouri, but because there's not a high population compared to like a St. Louis, we don't have as many resources for people that are underprivileged. And so a handful of these kids up against a lot, whether it be drugs or poverty or kids that are living in the middle of foster care situations. There's just a lot of underprivileged kids that get a chance to have a safe space here at KLIFE and get loved on and cared for, and have lots of fun. Like I said, overall, Kirksville KLIFE is a kids ministry where the volunteers, the leaders, share life with kids and share Jesus with kids. That is what it is. What it means to me is, well, it's where I met Meg, and I heard her singing next to me, and I was like, hey, we need more people to sing for music. Would you help me? And that's kind of how we first started talking and met, really, is practicing music together here. We actually ended up getting married here at the KLIFE building. And when I was a part of KLIFE in college, my section of the ministry was the rehab center. And so when I think of KLIFE, that's what I think of is the role that I was doing in college. And so that looked like going over there to the rehab center. Primarily it's high school students that are over there that have been pulled out of their school, dropped in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, into this rehab center. Most of them have it's all for drugs and then other like behavior stuff that's going on too. So they're the knucklehead kids. But I loved being over there, getting to have meals with them. We had an open door that they would just let us come over for lunches. We'd get to lead their game time. I think it was like 3 to 4 in the afternoons. We'd get to lead games with them and lead a Bible study for those that wanted to stay. And I think it was just important because, one, they had like a rec time every day, but the staff over there and just, it's not always feasible for them to come up with new games and actually make that time fun for them. And so it's a privilege to get to really make that time fun for them and be excited for them, because rehab overall is not fun. And then for the kids that wanted to stay for Bible study and just talk and ask real questions, we never had too much planned on the agenda to like lead them through something or teach them a bunch, but really just an open discussion. And that was one of my favorite parts, I think. There are a couple key moments. I'll just tell you about one of them, that there was a kid one time, actually it was just over here in this other room across the hall. We were talking about how like God forgives people, and they were kind of battering me with questions of like, well, would he forgive this? And I was like, yeah, like he would forgive anything. I was just like trying to get that point across, and they couldn't believe it. They thought for some reason that there are a couple things that were off limits that God wouldn't forgive. And I remember one kid, he was kind of quiet most of that time, and he said, could he forgive you if you killed someone? And I could see him like in his face, like he had wrestled with this. That wasn't the first day he had thought about that. And I'm assuming that he had killed someone, and or he was thinking of a person that did. And I said, yeah. And I think that's offensive to some people, that God would forgive another person that's murdered another person or that's raped someone. Um, but in that moment, there was relief and there was hope um, for some of these kids that have done terrible things. Um, there was this chance that they had realized for the first time, some of them, that, oh, I can keep living, and there is still hope. And that's just powerful to see. There are a couple other scenarios like that have happened that were pretty cool to be a part of. I think that happens often around KLIFE, where kids have questions about courage or judging or just whatever it may be, and they're able to have real conversations with people that love them. Freaking gnat. Now, this is all funded from donors, so there's no state or government funding for KLIFE. If you're willing, send 50, 100, 200 bucks to the ministry so this work can continue. Thanks.